The first group of white South Africans granted refugee status under Donald Trump has arrived in the United States, prompting backlash in South Africa after Trump described the Afrikaner population as victims of genocide. The group, consisting of individuals primarily descended from Dutch settlers, was welcomed at Dulles International Airport near Washington, D.C. by high-ranking U.S. officials, including Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau and Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security Troy Edgar. Many in the group were handed American flags upon arrival.
Welcome. Welcome to the United States of America. It is such an honor for us to receive you here today. This is the land of the free, and we know that all of you have faced... I'm Chris Landau. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm the Deputy Secretary of State of the United States. This is my friend Troy Edgar.
Yeah, I'm the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security. And again, welcome. So great to have you guys here.
It makes me so happy to see you with our flag in your hands, and that flag symbolizes liberty for so many of us. Many of us, our families, have had a journey not that different from the journey that you are embarking on today, but I want you all to know that you are really welcome here and that we respect what you have had to deal with these last few years. We respect the long tradition of your people and what you have accomplished over the years, and I am sure that you will be successful. It's, as you know, a lot of you, I think, are farmers, right? When you have quality seeds, you can put them in foreign soil and they will blossom, they will bloom. And we are excited to welcome you here to our country where we think you will bloom, and we will hopefully allow you to have fulfilling lives for your children, and then we will bloom and we will benefit alongside you. So thank you very much for coming here.
He also stated the United States is sending a strong message that it rejects racial persecution in South Africa. The arrival coincided with a controversial move by the Trump regime to end protections for Afghan nationals who have been shielded from deportation under temporary status, asserting that conditions had improved in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Landau noted that one factor in resettling Afrikaners rather than Afghans was that their perceived ability to easily assimilate into American society. Earlier in the year, Trump had halted the broader U.S. refugee admissions program, leaving over 100,000 individuals approved for resettlement in limbo. In February, however, allegedly after conversations with Elon Musk, he issued an executive order granting refugee status to white South Africans, many of whom are part of the Afrikaner group that historically upheld apartheid and oppressed the country's black majority. This is a genocide, Trump claimed during a press conference at the White House when asked why Afrikaners were being prioritized over refugees from other crises such as famine or war in Africa. His remarks mirrored a conspiracy theory popular in far-right circles and promoted by Elon Musk, who is originally from South Africa. Trump insisted that race was not a factor in the decision.
Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. We've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here.
He also warned that he would skip the G20 summit in Johannesburg unless South Africa addressed the situation, though the country's leadership was scheduled to visit him the following week. Speaking at a conference in Ivory Coast, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said he had personally informed Donald Trump during a phone call that the US president had been misled about the situation of white South Africans. Ramaphosa explained that the claims of discrimination stemmed from individuals opposing government policies aimed at addressing the enduring effects of apartheid-era racial disparities. We believe the US government has misunderstood the situation, but we remain open to dialogue, he said. Data cited in the Review of Political Economy highlights the vast economic divide still present in the country. White South Africans, on average, possess 20 times more wealth than their black counterparts. Additionally, unemployment among black South Africans stands at 46.1%, compared to just 9.2% for white citizens. Meanwhile, the Episcopal Church's migration agency has declined a request from the US government to assist in resettling white South African refugees, citing the Church's deep-rooted dedication to racial justice and reconciliation. Presiding Bishop Sean Rowe made the announcement today just before the 59 South Africans arrived at Dulles International Airport aboard a private charter flight and were welcomed by government officials. Rather than comply, Episcopal Migration Ministries, EMM, will end its long-standing partnership with the Federal Refugee Resettlement Program, Rowe said. This development follows a policy initiated during Trump's presidency that gave expedited refugee claims to white South Africans based on claims of racial discrimination by their government. EMM, which has participated in federally funded refugee resettlement for decades, was recently approached by government officials requesting help with placing the new arrivals. However, Rose said the church could not support this initiative due to its principles and long-standing relationships in Southern Africa. Given our commitment to racial equity and our historic ties to the Anglican Church of Southern Africa, we cannot support this effort, Rose stated. Therefore, we will conclude our federal refugee resettlement agreements by the end of the current fiscal year. South African officials have strongly denied accusations that white citizens are facing racial persecution. Rowe also expressed concerns about the way in which these refugees were prioritized, stating it was painful to see certain groups fast-tracked, while others, including those who aided the US military in conflict zones or who are fleeing religious persecution, remain in limbo. The church intends to continue supporting immigrants in alternative ways, focusing on those already within the US or those stuck abroad. The decision marks the end of a nearly 40-year collaboration between EMM and the federal government, during which time the ministry helped resettle close to 110,000 refugees from countries such as Myanmar, Congo, and Ukraine. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.